Welcome everybody to the first official show. Today, as you guys could probably guess, we're going to be talking about the coronavirus, of course. So, just going to kind of give you guys a rundown of my thoughts on everything that's going on, with a few other touches of stuff I want to mention in here as well. But before we get started, I just want to let it be known, let it be real clear right from the start. I am not, I repeat, not a medical professional. So, yeah, if you guys have any questions, further questions, I would advise talking to your doctors or even your pediatrician or whatever you got, your doctor, basically. I'm not the one to go to for specific case-by-case situations. So, if you're feeling sick, you think you might have it or something like that, I would strongly advise going to your doctor and kind of getting a case-by-case diagnosis instead of just taking what I say here, because kind of basically what I'm going to be talking about is kind of more of a whole general spectrum of what's going on. So before I kind of get into my whole take on the situation, because I got a few things noted down here that I want to mention, I kind of want to let you guys know, or kind of for people that are unaware, kind of give a brief overview of what exactly the coronavirus does and kind of what it looks like if you contract it and it becomes a really huge issue. So basically, to start off, it's a respiratory disease. So what that means is it attacks your lungs. It's not really like a stomach thing. I guess you could have some stomach pain is one of the symptoms. I think some people have that, but so that kind of makes me wonder why people are buying so much toilet paper, but I'll get into that a little bit later. So basically, if I can explain this well enough, what happens is the virus itself infiltrates your lungs and attacks healthy cells that make up your lungs. And in your lungs, on your cells, you have these little fibers that kind of help. They're basically like hair-like fibers, kind of like what you have in your nose is a good way to draw that connection. And what it does is they filter out mucus and other toxins basically in your lungs that you breathe in, or kind of that your body creates. It helps filter that out and just keep that oxygen and distribute that oxygen evenly throughout your body. That's what the lungs are for. So what happens with the coronavirus is when it infiltrates those healthy cells in your lungs, when those healthy lung cells begin to die, those hair-like fibers will disappear, for a lack of a better word, or die alongside with those healthy fibers. And what that does is it allows mucus and other toxins to build up in your lungs, which can develop into pneumonia. I'm sure most of you guys, even if you haven't had pneumonia in the past, kind of have a general idea of what that is. So this is basically where pneumonia starts to develop. So your body, in response to this, will send I can't remember what it was called, but it will send something to basically attack the infected cell and kill it before it can really cause any more damage. So that's good. That's something that your body does naturally. But the issue here could be that your body could attack healthy cells as well as the infected cells, which, if your body attacks the healthy cells, will create even more issues. This kind of what I'm explaining here is worst case scenario with the coronavirus. Some people, they get it and their body's able to fight it off easy, and it doesn't really become a huge deal where you need to go to the hospital, obviously, and that's honestly the case with most. I'm kind of just giving you guys a what would happen worst case scenario. So getting back to that, let's see, where was I? Yeah, you can recover most of the time without too many huge issues. Honestly, you probably, depending on your health, obviously health, age, that stuff factors into it, you can recover without even having to go to the hospital. But for example, if you're at a certain age or have an underlying condition that may cause this to affect you worse. Basically, what happens here is fluids build up in your lungs over time, and if there becomes so much fluid in your lungs, this is obviously after you've contracted pneumonia. This is at the point where people really start to need to be going to the hospital. So this is where you need to be put on a ventilator, things like that to help with breathing. So at this point, it just would be near impossible. And then, at this point, that could result in death or permanent damage. So it's honestly a really similar disease to SARS. If you guys know what that is, it's another respiratory disease. To be honest with you guys, and I just kicked something here while I was getting up to turn down the volume on the TV, but yeah. So where was I with the so SARS it's another respiratory illness, and honestly, I think that happened. It's been a few years now, and there's the outbreak with the SARS, and I'm too young to remember really what happened with that. So I don't know. I'm sure some of you guys can remember that, and if not, you guys probably know more on that than I do. Hopefully, that little breakdown, hopefully that made sense. If you guys didn't really get that, I don't know how well I explained that, but if you guys, have any other further questions about just kind of what's up, you guys can contact me on Instagram, and I'll get back to you on all that. So now I want to kind of get into my opinion, my take on everything that's going on. So I guess first off, if you don't know, this is, there's a lot of factors that go into my opinion and why I kind of believed what I do and kind of my take on the whole thing. So I'm an 18-year-old guy. I'm in good health. I have no underlying conditions. So the risk of being seriously sick, obviously it would get me sick, but I guess of dying from the coronavirus if I was to contract, it's pretty low. So when I first heard of all the closings, I guess the big things that started happening was tournament, NCAA, NBA, all the sports just shut down, and then after that it was everything else just kind of followed that. When I heard that was going on, I was like, man, these people are out of their mind. This is crazy. Why are we shutting all this stuff down? Everybody's overreacting. And I would say at this point it's been a little over a week since we've kind of been in the quarantine. My opinions have shifted a tad. So I guess where I would stand here, this is an interesting question because there's kind of a balance here. So I would say that I do think, the toilet paper, you guys all know about all that, the toilet paper situation and just people rushing and shoving and just taking everything off the shelves at the grocery stores. It's obnoxious, and it's uncalled for, honestly, in a situation like this. And I feel like if people would just take a second to think what they're doing and how many other people might need it way more than they do, it could really, really help solve that issue, or at least help it to not be as big of a problem as it is. These stores are going to restock. This stuff's going to be back. You can survive, a couple days with 1 or 2 rolls of toilet paper. I would hope. Maybe not. I don't know. I know at least I can. So I want people to calm down, settle down. Everything's gonna be okay. There's no need to panic. There's no need to freak out about. There's no need to freak out about this. I don't think panicking is going to solve anything, and just the media coverage and just seeing these images of people just rushing to the stores, the bare shelves, it just causes panic in everybody else. And I don't think that's what we need right now. So I think the toilet paper and whole rushing to stores everything is stupid. for a lack of a better word. But this is kind of where my opinion shifted over the past few weeks. So I was not happy about my gym being closed. Obviously, like I like to work out. I like to stay in as good a shape as I possibly can, and I wasn't happy about that. And I was like, why are they doing this? There's like, at the time there was maybe like at most 3 to 5 people in my state that had confirmed cases. Obviously that number could have been higher. So I was like, why are they closing this down? There's nothing wrong. Why are they closing all these stores down, and why are they like making it to where you can't even go to the restaurant without going to the drive-thru or whatever. But kind of as I thought about it, and as the days have gone on, like I understand, we're kind of trying to protect the spread of it, more so than if it's not for people in my generation, young, healthy individuals. We're trying to protect people that are older, have underlying conditions that could really have some major issues if they were to catch this. Like, when I really stop and think about just myself and think about everyone else and what's going on, I can see why we're doing what we're doing, and I understand, and I get it, and I support it for the time being. I don't believe that we need to keep everything kind of shut down or on low maintenance for a super extended period of time. I think, at this point, maybe at most 2 more weeks, and hopefully we can start to kind of normalize things a little bit more. I want to kind of start easing slowly back into the normal lifestyle where everything's kind of open up again, because obviously it's hurting small businesses, and just a lot of people I've heard are getting laid off, and it's just not a good situation, and it's really unfortunate. But I think for the time being, what we've done with kind of the closures and stuff to kind of help protect a certain population is probably the best move we could have made. I can't think of an alternative that would have been better to do in a situation, because I think something had to be done, even though there's really not that many cases when you really put it into consideration. Like, like people could be carrying it and you just don't know. There are people that have tested positive for it. For example, Rand Paul tested positive for it, basketball player Kevin Durant, and both of them said that they felt normal, there's no issues, but they tested positive for it. So people could be carrying it and just don't know, and I think that's the most dangerous thing about it. So I guess just to kind of keep people separated and kind of doing their own thing for a couple weeks is probably the right decision, at least for now. But like I said, I want to start seeing, hopefully things die down and there aren't too many other confirmed cases and deaths, and just more exposure and spread of it, that we can start to kind of open back up stuff again, because I know that a lot of people are tired of being just kind of trapped in their house, and honestly, like for some small businesses and people, like they need it. They need the money to come in. I don't know. I might discuss Trump's $1,000 plan in the next show. I feel like that's kind of it's a related topic, but I kind of want to link that and the economic side of what's going on with this in one video. So I think I'm going to do that the next show. But yeah, so my take has shifted. I do not want this to last more than a couple more weeks. Like, I really hope it doesn't. I think this kind of quarantine thing, whether people like it or not, obviously, like, nobody really likes it, but I think this will help stop the spread enough for things to start transitioning back to what we would call normal here in the next couple weeks. It will be interesting to see, like, kind of how long this whole coronavirus scare thing lasts, because it will have major impacts on just so many people, and it's been about a week and a half now where things have really gotten, stuff's going on lockdown, and just to see how much it's affected people's lives so far. It's crazy, and just to think about what it could do, I guess, in the future, depending on how long this prolongs, is it's kind of scary. I don't know, but hopefully it doesn't last too much longer. I can't predict the future, so I don't know how long it will continue to last. But basically, to kind of sum up here, I think the quarantine move for now was the right call, given the circumstances. Excuse me. Obviously there's really no good outcome that can come out of a situation like this. It's just really unfortunate. I hope people are able to understand that, some people might not be able to pay off full rent this month, just things like that. People might not be able to pay off certain things because of what's going on. I hope people and companies are open-minded and smart enough, quite frankly, to understand what's going on, that this is out of their control, and kind of give them a little bit of a break on their payments, because it's just that really could decimate some people's lives and what they've worked so hard to build up. I hope people understand that, and I hope just the population as a whole understands that, don't be greedy, don't be selfish. There's so much to be thankful for, and there's so many other people in your community that really need the quote unquote essential materials more than you do. The overwhelming flocking to the stores for food and stuff. Like, I get it, but at the same time, like, it's just unnecessary. It's causing panic, and I promise you, if you were to look around, there's someone there that truly does need it a lot more than you do, and a lot more than I do. So hopefully, if I ever come in a situation here in the next few days where, I'm at a store, or I'm somewhere and I have something, and I see someone that, I know could benefit it from more than I could, that I will make the right decision. And I hope that you guys do too, and I encourage you guys to just look out for each other, make sure everybody's doing okay. It doesn't have to be anything crazy. You don't have to, watch over them 24/7. Just check up on your buddies, check up on your neighbors, check up on your friends. Just kind of let them know that you're there, and let them know that you're thinking about them, and just kind of make sure that everything's all good. Everything, they're good. They say everything's good, and we just continue on a day by day, and see what happens, what transpires, and I don't know. I'm not too crazy worried about it. I think we will get through it. The big thing is stick it out for what it is right now. It sucks for everybody, but we will rebound. We'll be okay. I promise. And just look out for each other. I feel like there was something else I was going to say on this topic before I kind of wrap this part up, but I don't know. I can't remember what that is. So if I think of it, I'll add it on here at the end. So I did a little question thing on my Instagram. I got this idea from another podcast. I'll mention him here in a minute once I answer one of these questions. But I put a little question poll thing on my page for you guys to ask questions for me to respond to here. So I'm just going to kind of add these in at the end of every video, and you guys can ask me stuff like just random any type questions, honestly, that you guys want me to answer here. So I have 4 questions here written down that I'm going to kind of give my little short, straight to the point responses to real quick. So first question came from True American Patriot and said, what podcasts influenced you? So that's a good question. I listen to a lot of different podcasts, not really on a daily basis, but every now and then I would say the top 2 I listen to on a fairly often are Two Sides for Democrats podcast. Dylan, he does a great job in what he does, and I actually got this idea for the Q&A after him, or from him. So if you guys don't already check him out and follow him on Instagram, go ahead and do that. We actually have the same name. His name is Dylan. My name is Dylan, it's spelled the same way, so that's pretty cool. Him, and then I also on occasion listen to a podcast called Free Man Beyond the Wall. That's an interesting one. They got some interesting takes on society and just all the different issues going on. They got some interesting points of view and some interesting things to talk about for sure. That's why I like to listen to them, because some of the things they say and propose may seem pretty radical, but it at times makes sense. So if you guys don't already listen to his podcast, it's called Free Man Beyond the Wall. You guys can go ahead and check that out. I'm sure he would really appreciate that. Those are the main two. I listen to others here and there, but yeah, I don't know. This is kind of something I've been wanting to do for a while, and I feel like now I'm at a better time and better place to be able to really put time and effort into doing it. So here I am. Question number 2 comes from Jackson, and he said, how do you feel on the topic of transgender and bisexual? So this is obviously a pretty debated topic. I'm going to try and keep this as short and straight to the point as I can be here with this question. So basically, my opinion on transgender, bisexual, gay, lesbian, whatever, LGBT, in general, I would say I don't care what you are, lesbian, gay, transgender, whatever. I don't care what you identify as or what your sexuality is, as long as you live your life and let me live mine without severely forcing what you believe down my throat all the time. You live your life, I live mine. That works for me. I don't care what you do at all, really. To be honest with you, I don't care. Like that goes for like drugs, like marijuana. That's another topic for another day. But I don't, if that's your thing, I don't have an issue with that. Just respect my, I guess, decision not to partake in that. But yeah, I don't care. You do it if you wanna do that. If that's what you believe or whatever. That's on you, man. So question number 3 was from Feemster. I believe that's how you pronounce that. Sorry if I messed that up. He says, do you think the current pandemic will lead to changes in how we prepare for such things? I would say no. I think if something like this were to happen 20, 30 years, even 10 years down the line, like another disease we don't know much about that kind of becomes a pandemic, I think you're going to still have the people that freak out and go to Walmart or whatever and just grab everything off the shelves like they have no decency or whatever. But no, I think a similar thing will kind of transpire here, because we don't know anything about this disease, and if another one comes along we don't know anything about, what else is there really to do? I don't know. I don't have a good alternative to the whole keep people quarantined and stuff for a time being, to kind of evaluate our options in the future. I don't know what else we would be able to do. Maybe there's something down the line, but or maybe something that you guys can think of that we could have done, but I don't know. I honestly cannot think of anything. So I think it'll be the same thing. People panicking for really no reason. Just calm down. Everybody will be all good. But to answer your question, no, I think it'll be the same kind of crazy fest that this one has been, unfortunately. But I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong. Hopefully, maybe if something like this happens in the future, that society can prove me wrong. I don't know. I hope for that. And then to wrap things up, the last question. This is an interesting one. This is from Timothy Allen. He says, what's going to happen to China with their love of authoritarianism? And then he put in hashtag war with China at the end. That's interesting. I don't think anything, or at least I hope nothing, involving a conflict with the U.S. and China. That would not be ideal, even though our military is, I would say, more trained and more well equipped. They have a lot of people, and that's hard to counter. And I think a war with China would be really devastating for both sides, whether people want to admit that or not. And I'm not sure that there's much that we can do. It's just we're so interlocked and tied with China economically that, you know, they have their whole thing going where it's basically slave labor. They, you know, cheap labor. They excuse me here, but you know, they make cheap products and pay their workers nothing, and people in the Western world buy it because it's cheaper. And it's just there's so much of an economic tie between the United States and China that, you know, I know President Trump's been trying to kind of, you know, stand up to China, and I think that's good, but at the same time, I don't think there's anything that's going to be done that will kind of try and put a stop to their regime or anything like that. It's just the United States is so interlocked with them economically, at least right now, that I don't foresee anything happening in terms of a conflict or anything that the U.S. significantly would do to really put a stop to what's going on over there. I don't know, maybe something will happen. Maybe, you know, we can always, I like pushing the American first thing, you know, buying American if you can. You know, if we can get to a time where, like, everything is, you know, just produced here and so much cheaper here and whatever, and we can make that work, we can maybe put some pressure on them to change things up. But for the time being, I don't foresee that. But I don't know. Who knows? You know, the next day is not always certain, so crazy stuff can happen. We've seen that, what's going on in the world right now. So I don't know who really knows any of the answers to any of the questions being asked. When you really think about it, it's all subjective, and it's all subject to change. So I don't know. It's, you know, I feel like the answer to every question is in a way an opinion. But anyways, I'm getting off track. I'm gonna wrap this up here. It's been getting close to 30 minutes, so hopefully you guys kind of got an understanding of what my opinion is. I don't even know. I kind of just rambled on, but that's really what podcasts are. But anyways, I appreciate you guys tuning in. If you guys have any other, you know, questions, follow-up questions you want to ask me about anything that I said, you're welcome to DM me, and I will get back to you as soon as possible. Yeah, so, you know, let me know any feedback or anything like that. I'd be happy to take that. And yeah, so I'll have the question post up the day that I record the next podcast show. The next show I wanted to mention this will probably be the economic impact of the coronavirus and kind of my opinion or my thoughts on what maybe could or could not happen and how this could affect possibly Trump's re-election chance in November of this year. It's fast approaching, but yeah, so that's next episode. I appreciate you guys for sticking around. I will see you guys in the next one. Hopefully it's best case scenario comes out at the end of this week, maybe Thursday or Friday. Worst case scenario comes out next Monday. I don't know. We'll see what happens. I got a lot of stuff going on. I got to travel here tomorrow, so that's unfortunate. But yeah, thank you guys for tuning in once again. I know I've said that a lot, but I appreciate all the support that you guys give me each and every day. It's awesome. And I hope you guys have a great rest of your day. Take it easy. Just got to make it a few more weeks. Everything will be all good, back to normal, and better than ever. Thank you guys. I'll see you guys in episode number 2. I'm excited. Can't wait. Thank you guys for tuning in. Peace.